Hello, my name is Eric Muncie, and I am the ParoDnD Dad. So I'll explain what that name means here shortly, but first I wanted to tell you a little bit about who I am and why I decided to start a YouTube channel. So first, I've been married to my wife, Chelsea, for 6 years now, as of January 10th, so just off of our 6th anniversary. And we have two 5-year-old fur babies, so they were our first children. And then we have a crazy 3-year-old daughter named Adley, and whoever said terrible twos, I politely disagree. I think it's threes that are terrible. But anyway, and then we have another child on the way soon, be here in June. I say child because we don't know yet if the baby's going to be a boy or girl, so we'll see. Oh, and I forgot the dog's names, Finley and Fable. Now, I'm sure you will hear and or see all of them at any point in my videos because they're going to pop up or be yelling out when I'm trying to do a video, and I tend to just roll with it because yeah, it's part of life. So yeah, I'm sure you'll hear them. Anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. So why did I decide to start a channel? So first, I've been writing parodies for many years, and people have told me many times, hey, you should record them or copyright them, publish them, so on and so forth. And I just don't really have time for that. I mean, ain't nobody got time for that, right? But I did have the thought a few years back that, hey, I could start a YouTube channel and post my parodies, and then anyone who was interested could listen to them and enjoy them, hopefully. So you may or may not, but I've been putting that off for a while now, and I've been putting it off for a few different reasons. I mean, one, like, I know there's better parodies out there. There's people who write better parodies, and like my video editing and recording skills are quite limited. I mean, this is going to be my first experience with video editing for the most part. So yeah, I'm sure the quality will improve over time, but I mean, it is what it is. I've put it off for too long because, I mean, there's enough negativity and just plain dumbness in the world right now. We could all use more laughs in our lives. And so that's the main focus of my channel, is to bring more laughs to people's lives and hopefully make the world a little bit brighter place by getting people to laugh, smile, smirk, whatever. And so if my parodies do that for you, awesome. If they don't, then feel free to just kind of not watch them, because yeah, that's totally your prerogative. But that kind of explains the parody part and also the dad part of my name. Now the middle part, D&D. So for those of you who aren't familiar, D&D is Dungeons and Dragons, and I've gotten back into it recently, and I've just really been enjoying it. So last January I DM'd. So DM means Dungeon Master, also called like the GM or the Game Master. So I've basically ran a campaign, which is a story that you guys are writing together over a period of time. They tend to last for a while. Our first one lasted for about a year. And yeah, we started that back in January last year. That campaign's ended, but when it was about halfway through, I started DMing another campaign for a different group. That one's about halfway done, and it's just been a lot of fun. Now, one thing, this is going to seem like a little bit of a sidetrack, but I promise it will tie in. So another thing that you should know about me is I'm a Christian. Now, I'm not like a you're all going to hell and I'm so good kind of Christian. The kind of Christian I am is, hey, God died to save me from myself, which goodness knows I need, and to make it to where I could have a relationship with him, and now my job is to love on the people around me with that same kind of love. Like, that's who I am. Now, the reason that, or how that ties in, is for a long time the church had said that D&D was wrong and people shouldn't play it. And so growing up, I never really had any interest or really looked into it at all. However, in college, I had a friend named Tom who invited me to play in a group, and I politely said thanks, but no thanks. He did convince me, though, to come watch a session. And about halfway through the session, I just started laughing. And they kind of stopped and looked at me like, what's so funny? It's like, well, I just have to laugh because, like, the church is scared of this. When what D&D is at its core, it's a group of people getting together and just playing an imagination game and writing a story together over these characters they've made up. And there's a standard set of rules that they follow because our imaginations as adults are too limited compared to what we were as kids. So now we need some rules to go by, or we're just not going to be able to make it work. That's all it is. I mean, it's just people getting together and writing this imaginary story together, and it's just so much fun. But the church has been scared of it for so long, and so yeah, I just had to laugh. Now I will put a caveat on there of like, if there are some people who have difficulty mentally separating fact from fiction, and like, I could see somebody getting into trouble in that situation when you can't separate that, hey, this is a character that I'm just portraying versus, hey, this is real life. But I mean, you can do that with anything. You can do that with movies, video games. I mean, how often do you hear about people playing video games and then going and doing things they shouldn't, so on and so forth. I mean, that applies to every part of life, and D&D is no different. At its core, in my humble opinion anyway, there's nothing wrong or dangerous about it, and it's just fun. So my friends and I have been playing now for about a year, like I said, and it's brought a lot of fun and a lot of joy to our lives. And you see sides of people that you wouldn't necessarily see. So for example, my younger brother, which I have 4 brothers and 1 sister, so pretty big family, but one of my younger brothers, I invited him to play, and normally in a conversation, he's probably going to say like 5 words if you're lucky, just because he's just quiet. Nothing wrong with that. But when I got him into our group, the very first session that he played in, the dude talked more than he's probably talked in at least a year, and that's probably only slightly an exaggeration. And he just, you would never know it, but he is so creative and so smart. But most people don't see that side of him. But in this role-playing game where you're portraying a character, something about it just lets people show a side of themselves that they've kind of kept quiet. And it's just really cool to see. Like, I've had so much fun and joy watching him play this game and just watching how he interacts and portrays his character. I mean, now this is a little bit technical as far as D&D goes, so those of you who don't know much about it or how it works, just enjoy the story aspect of it. Basically, on the fly, when his character was stuck and they were getting attacked by pirates and he had nothing that he could do to help because the pirates are still at a distance, he decided to throw together this glass bottle with like an explosive liquid in it, or a flammable liquid in it, and launch it at the pirate ship. And in D&D, you determine how well things go based on how dice rolls go. And he rolled really highly on both of his things, which means that he totally knocked it out of the ballpark. And this big explosion happens on the pirate ship, and it was just cool and fun, and we laughed so hard at this just random creativity that he comes up with. And that happens, we play weekly, and pretty much every week we have instances like that where we're just laughing together and having fun. So the other thing that I would like to eventually be able to do on this channel, in addition to sharing my parodies, is to record and share our D&D sessions. Now, that'll be a little bit down the road for a couple of reasons. One, right now we're in the middle of a campaign, and it really wouldn't be fair to you all to start recording in the middle of a campaign, because then you're not going to know what's going on. You're not necessarily going to really feel what the characters are going through and what they've dealt with and what's brought them to this point and all that. So that wouldn't be fair to you all. So when I start recording those sessions, it'll be at the start of a campaign. The other campaign that's getting ready to start back up, that's kind of a part 2, so you'd still be missing out on some stuff there. And then lastly, some of my players are not quite to the point yet where they're comfortable kind of putting those role-playing skills out there on the internet for people to see, which is totally understandable. I'm not entirely comfortable with putting my DM skills out there because I'm new. I know I'm not the best. I know I make mistakes, but we're a group of friends getting together, having fun, and laughing. And so if that'll bring other people joy and get other people laughing, then I'm cool with sharing it, even though I might not, or I know I'm not the best. That's okay with me. But we do some what's called one-shots sometimes. So one-shots they can be the same characters or different characters, and it's like 1 or 2 sessions that's just this like mini story. And so we do them at times, and those will probably be the first D&D kind of sessions that I'm able to share with you guys, and I look forward to when I get to the point where we can do that. So stay tuned for that. It'll be fun. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about D&D, how it works, or anything like that, any of those components you'd like to see a video on, which there's a lot of them out there, but if you would like me to do one on it, I can do that. If you have any questions or anything about my parodies, so on and so forth, then just comment below. But I think that's enough rambling for now. Oh, as a side note, so in this channel, I won't engage in conversations about politics or any of those other like controversial or really emotionally charged topics. But it's not because they're not important, because they are. But those topics, one, they're very divisive. Two, they are covered in plethora everywhere else. All you got to do is look at Facebook, and you can have all the political conversations you want. And so I don't want that on here. And the other thing about that is, like, it is important for balance in life. And so if everything you do and talk about is like politics, you're going to get just sucked into it so much that it loses its perspective, because it is part of what makes like America, and England, and I mean just the world. It's part of what makes it up, but it is not the only thing. So I think it's important for mental health purposes to separate those things at times. And like that stays over in this box, and when I just need a time to chill and to have a laugh and to have fun, that doesn't come into it. And so that's why I'm not going to be discussing those things on this channel. This channel is dedicated to just bringing some laughs and some fun and hopefully some joy into the world, or through parodies and D&D. So I think that's enough for now, but I should be getting up my first couple parodies here before too long, so be looking forward to those. Until then, have fun and keep laughing. See ya.